All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make a quick video here. So I've been reading through the comments, and some of you guys have interesting questions. Like some of you guys want to go try the whole block value paladin tanking thing, and you're wondering what the gearing would look like with that. Some of you are wondering about weapon selection between the new, 1.4 speed weapon with spell power and critical strike, or the 1.5 speed weapon with holy power on it, or the 1.33 weapon for your tanking purposes. So the way it basically works is, and let me pause the video so I can pull something up really fast. All right, there we go. All right, so the way it basically works is it really depends on what kind of paladin you're playing. So if I did the math on which of these weapons is better in Season of Discovery right now, so that would be like the Sanguine Saber, Paladin only, 1.5 speed, a ton of stamina, 35 DPS is the thing that we're really focusing on here. That has a 24 holy spell damage, and I do believe the other one if I scroll down really fast here, not the Hanzo sword. I think she's up. Yeah, scroll up. The Inventors focal sword. Yeah, 33 DPS, that's important. 1.4 speed, she's a little bit faster. 1% crit with spells and melee attacks, and then damage, healing done, magical spell effects, blah, 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 blah. If you literally do the math on any weapon in the game for a Seal of Righteousness Paladin, or even Seal of Martyrdom Paladin's a little bit different, but Seal of Righteousness Paladin, what ends up happening is the math always comes back that at certain spell power ratios, you're better off going with the higher damage, slower one-handed weapon. But then past certain spell power ratios, speed is everything, right? That's why when I compare Hammer of Righteousness to a Hungering Cold, right? And there's no comparison there because one does 72 DPS, 1.5 speed, and the other one doesn't even do 19 DPS at 1.3 speed. The math is literally just going to be well, if you're below 550 spell power, then the Hungering Cold is better. And if you're above 550 spell power, then Hammer of Righteousness or Flurry Axe becomes better. This branches off into what kind of paladin build are you actually doing. So for example, if you wanted to be a block value paladin, right, there's some actual dynamics involved here. So in the current phase, the really cruddy thing about block value paladin is that you can't both get Sacred Shield and Consecration at the same time, because you can only put 31 points in and an extra 10 points in. If you had one extra point, then you might be able to make a Holy Shield work. So right now, Holy Shield is just awful, because if you go all the way down here and pick up Holy Shield, what you're essentially giving up is you're giving up both Consecration and you're giving up Holy Shock. And then you're going to try to tell me that you're wearing block value gear with low critical strike chance. Terrible, terrible idea. Instead, what you should be doing as a block value paladin, I don't want to actually put points in there. What am I doing here? As a block value paladin is you literally I'm just going to throw points in here. I don't care what's going on. Is you put 31 points into the Holy Tree because it gives you both Consecration and Holy Shock. You put 5 points in Readout, and you can put either 3 points of Precision, or you can max out your Toughness, right? And you call it Dunzo for phase 3 at level 50. Even at level 60, when you can gain access to you can gain access to both Consecration and Holy Shield at the same time, it's still probably in your best interest to do this build, but it's very critical strike dependent. Okay, so when you have low critical strike chance, the value of Holy Shock combined with Exorcism and Art of War is extreme. When your critical strike chance starts going up above certain levels, right? So, for example, when you're going to be tanking an Avenger gear under raid conditions, you're probably going to have something stupid like a 30, not bad, my bad, like a 23, 24% critical strike chance. If you start factoring in world buffs on top of that, she's going to shoot up, well past 30% critical strike chance. She'll be damn near 40% critical strike chance. At 40% critical strike chance, you cannot. Seal of Martyrdom doesn't work anymore. SOR still works, but you can't support both Holy Shock and Exorcism with Art of War because you're just critting so damn much with such a fast one-handed weapon that suddenly Holy Shock loses its value, and you're better off removing Holy Shock and a bunch of other talent points out of the Holy Tree and going down here and picking up Holy Shield. Right? You guys follow me on this? So Holy Shield's going to be a little bit more on the table come level 60, because at least you can pick up Consecration. But at the same time, Holy Shock is still amazing because you have extra points to pick up Improved Righteous Fury. So the moral of the story is that the Holy Shock Art of War Seal of Righteousness build is going to be the way to go until you start hitting certain critical strike chance ratios. And once you start getting upwards of certain critical strike chance, then Holy Shield becomes better. It also depends on what content you're doing. So if you're doing speedrun stuff, your TPS in the pool is more valuable than your overall TPS. So Holy Shock is better than Holy Shield, obviously. If you're doing like casual guild stuff, then Holy Shield that probably ends up being better than Holy Shock. So hopefully you get what I'm trying to lay down here, right? At current level, the opportunity cost of going for Holy Shield is just too extreme. The other reason for this issue is if you're doing a block value Paladin, you're 100% taking Aegis over Horn of Lordaeron or Seal of Martyrdom. And that means you're immediately using Seal of Righteousness. This gear has relatively low spell power on it, and because it has low spell power on it, and if you recall, we just talked about, like, this is literally like the gear here with like a few changes, right? This is basically all the block value gear, I do believe. I don't think I've changed it out all that much. Really? Wailing Berserkers? Maybe I've tinkered around a little bit, but whatever. Because I have relatively low spell power on the character, the Hammer of Righteousness kind of goes down in value, and you're better off taking the Inventors Focal Sword or the Sanguine Saber, because they do actually bring at least, what is that, like plus 15 DPS, 16 DPS on the weapon, which is not bad, plus, some extra stats, critical strike chance, and yada, yada, yada. The Inventor Sword is probably better than the Sanguine Blade, like 100% better. She's faster, which is a big, big deal. She has critical strike for spells and attacks, and she has a bit of spell power behind her. She's probably your best bet by far. But once spell power starts going up, you're right back to the Hammer of Righteousness again, which is the sad truth of things. What else is there to say? You're going to be using Hammer of Righteousness. So if you have Hammer of Justice, you're probably better off going with Purifying Power. But if you have one of the better, like, higher DPS weapons, you're probably better off going Hammer of Righteousness. You'll just have to do the math on that your own damn self. And you're going Art of War, Seal of Righteousness, Sheath of Light, Fanaticism. Fanaticism's still fine. There's nothing better than Fanaticism. You could tinker around a little bit with improved Sanctity Aura if you wanted to. But I've kind of done the math on it, and it's all just kind of the same. The issue here is that if you had Holy Shield, we'd be on board with improved Sanctuary. But we don't have Holy Shield. Instead, we have Holy Shock and Art of War. And because of that, you end up wanting to go Fanaticism instead. We don't have enough melee critical strike to support Wrath yet. If we were in that scenario where, like, yeah, we got, like, 30% critical strike, the next thing you know, we're probably using Wrath over Fanaticism. It just is what it is. But then you're still using Holy Shock. So it's really, really stat dependent on which ones are better and why, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So if you're going to be playing a Paladin who's doing something other than going for okay. So if you're going for a spell power Paladin, you're going to be using Hammer of Righteousness 100%. The speed is just way too valuable. What's worse about it, of course, is you don't need Aegis all of a sudden. You just use Seal of Martyr. You just use Horn of Lordaeron, which is worth quite a bit. It's worth about plus 4% crit, which is a really big deal. If you're doing a Seal of Martyrdom style, like, attack power, that sort of thing, then the Sanguine Blades and stuff are better, because again, you're doing a low spell power build, so you take Hammer of Righteousness and yada yada yada. If you're doing the block stuff, you're also doing a low spell power build, which means you're also taking Hammer of Righteousness. And because you're taking Hammer of Righteousness, the next thing you know, you want to use this damn Inventor's Sword, or the Focal Sword, right? It just is what it is. To me, this is all very, very simple logic, but, I'll make a video on it anyways, since people are asking questions. Other people have been asking, like, what is my raid bisc gear? I have no idea. Like, it's whatever is strength, stamina, spell power. Like, otherworldly treasures, is that what the hell's going on? Wait, this is like no, don't include the cloth and armor. Let's relax here. I do believe this is rank gear. The knight's lamellar is rank gear. Yeah, I don't know what it is exactly by name. Could you please stop that? It's whatever the hell has strength, stamina, intellect, and see, this is damage and healing. Yeah, so it'd be Spider Fang, Carapace, and a bunch of other stuff. But that's Blackrock Depths. I don't know what it is. Wailing Berserkers, Will of the whatever the hell. Okay, Wailing Berserkers, healing. Ooh, this is interesting. Huh. So it might not exist. Yeah, that's interesting. So you might have to go do dungeons if you want your spell power gear, or go do the Emerald Dream stuff if you want the spell power gear, or just do the ranking stuff. I think a lot of you are really scared of ranking in PvP. Ranking, I think we top out at like level 7 right now. That's like 2 hours a day for a week, you guys. Like that's nothing. Like maybe 1 hour a day every day for 1 week, and bada bing, bada boom, you're gonna be level 7. You could get rank 7 just by playing for like 8 hours on every day on a weekend in like 1 week. I'm not joking. Go get the damn rank gear. Like what is wrong with you people? It's absolutely nothing. Like rank 7 is nothing. Like you could literally just go do world PvP for fun for like a couple days, and you'll get rank 7. It's ridiculous. So anyway, I'm gonna end it here, and Day is Fault, boys.